Howdy all. Today we're going to do a video on mounting your press. You went through a lot of trouble selecting your press, selecting your bench, finding an area suitable to do your reloading, and now it's come time to mount the press. When I first began reloading in the early 80s, these type of structures didn't exist then, at least not that I was aware of. This is a reloading stand with a mounting plate affixed to the top, and it's by Inline Fabrication. Other companies make press mounting plates. RCBS makes one and Lee makes one, is how I understand. And as far as these stands go, you have Inline Fabrication as shown here, and Lyman makes one, very similar to this. Most folks buy these because they either need to raise it to make it more ergonomically friendly for them for the reloading, or they're hoping to gain an apparatus that will allow them to change presses out, thereby not taking up added space on their bench and being able to change presses out as needed because they have multiple presses that they use for multiple functions. Another added benefit that some people I think weren't realized, which I latched onto very quickly, was that it spreads force. You see, when you're using one of these, you have compound leverage and you're applying force to a very small area, approximately 1 square inch. And I don't know the math involved, but I'm going to venture to say that I could probably put close to 1,000 pounds of pressure in 1 square inch on this. And you probably need close to that just to form your cases and resize them and go through the other functions of the reloading process. Spreading force out has the added benefit of reducing or completely eliminating flex on your bench. If you'll notice in other videos that when people are reloading, you'll notice that the whole press from being mounted directly to the bench will flex a little bit. The bench is flexing. Some people think the press is flexing. That's not the case. It's the bench. The presses are engineered in such a way, I would imagine, that they don't flex unless you can could possibly exert just extraordinary force on them. But by taking an area such as this, which would normally be mounted straight to the bench, this area here, by my math, comes to approximately 3 square inches. By mounting it on this riser stand, which is 7.5 inches high, by mounting it to an area that's 7.5 inches wide by 9.25 inches deep here, I've created an area that went from 3 square inches to 73 square inches. And that's 23.5 times more area. Thereby, I've spread out force 23.5 times, which I don't know if it equates to the bench being 23.5 times stronger, but just by using this and not doing any added engineering to the bench itself, the whole setup is far sturdier. This bench here is not mounted to the wall, and I'm probably going to get into that in the near future, mounting it to the wall. But so far, just from sizing cases with this setup, the bench doesn't flex at all. And it has to be the added benefit of this. I'm sure of this because I was involved in a car accident years ago. I'm a retired deputy sheriff. And when I was involved in a car accident, I had a vehicle that backed out in front of me. I was running code to an emergency call, and a vehicle backed out in front of me. This is before airbags. My seat belt, besides just keeping me from flying into the windshield or striking the steering column or such, prevented me from hitting the windshield, but it does that by spreading force, okay? The belt is 3.5 to 4 inches wide in most vehicles. I was wearing body armor at the time, and my body armor had a shock plate in it, which was made of metal. And that metal plate could fit inside this. So I'm going to say it's probably 70 square inches in area. And it took that force, which is, I don't know how much I applied to this seat belt, but I weighed approximately 200 pounds then, times whatever speed I was doing at the time of the collision. And that force was being spread over 80 square inches as opposed to 4 inches wide. I've worked a lot of car accidents and have noticed that people, when their lives are saved by a seatbelt, they still get bruising, a massive bruise that will go right along here. It's about as wide as a seatbelt. I had none of that. So by using a stand and taking the bolt pattern and spreading it out to 73 square inches from 3 square inches, I've made this possibly 23 times stronger than going through any type of re-engineering of the wood or added bracing or such like that. So your added benefit of changing presses out or raising it higher has another added benefit of spreading force and making your reloading stand or press a lot stronger and your bench a lot stronger, which adds to the pleasure of your reloading experience. This is 1st 75th Ranger signing off. And always remember to keep calm and return fire. And if peace doesn't work, give war a chance.